The lion's reflection. The rains returned to Zubaa Forest, and with them came growth, new leaves, new cubs, and new dreams. Leo wandered alone one morning to the edge of the Mirror Lake, a place where waters reflected more than your face. They showed your heart. As he leaned over the still surface, Leo saw himself, not as a cub, not as a king, but as a lion in harmony with all things. He blinked. In the reflection stood his younger self, the one who had been afraid to roar. "You were brave," Leo whispered. "No," the reflection said with a grin. "We were brave." He smiled, and for the first time, he truly forgave himself. The dance of the rainbirds. High above the treetops, the colorful rainbirds returned for their once-in-a-year sky dance. Zizi had never seen it before. "I heard they danced to a roar," Leo chuckled. "Let's test that." With a deep breath, he roared, not with fear or force, but with joy. The sky shimmered, and dozens of rainbow-feathered birds swooped through the clouds, dancing in spirals to the rhythm. The animals below clapped and cheered. Even Queen Luma blinked back tears. "It's like the forest is singing back to him," Nia said. Milo tossed fruit in the air, yelling, "Best roar ever!" A crown of vines. Back at the central grove, the animals held a surprise. They led Leo to a stone circle where elders, children, birds, and bugs had gathered. Tamu stepped forward, holding something woven from vines, leaves, feathers, and bits of glowing bark. A crown. "This isn't for being the strongest," he said. "It's for being the bravest heart." Leo bowed, and the crown was placed upon his head. A gentle wind swirled around him, and the forest responded with a low musical hum. Leo didn't feel like a king. He felt connected to everything. The song beneath the soil. While exploring the forest with Tamu, Leo heard something odd beneath the ground, a rhythm. "It's coming from the roots," Tamu said. "The trees are singing." They pressed their ears to the soil. It was faint, but a real heartbeat melody, like the earth humming. Back at the grove, Nia confirmed it. "It's the oldest sound of all, life itself, the roar beneath." Leo had an idea. He gathered the forest. Every animal, big and small, pressed a paw, hoof, or claw to the ground. And then they listened to the roar that was always there, beneath them, within them. The forest's first roar. Inspired by the rhythm beneath the soil, Leo taught the forest how to roar together, not with loud voices, but with heart. Each animal added their sound. Chirps, growls, whistles, hums. They roared as one. The drums of echo lit with gold. The trees pulsed with light. The rivers shimmered. This was the first true forest roar. A roar not of one voice, but of all. And from far away, new cubs opened their eyes, hearing that united sound, knowing the forest was safe. Leo looked around, smiling at his friends. "I think this is only the beginning." The echo within the egg. As Leo explored the far side of Echo Hill with Nia, they stumbled upon a warm, glowing stone nest nestled between two large baobab roots. Inside lay a single, pulsing, golden egg. "It's humming," Leo whispered, his ear close. "Like it's alive." "This is an echo egg," Nia said, "laid once every 100 years by the forest itself. When it hatches, a creature of pure harmony is born." "But why now?" Leo asked. Nia turned to him. "Because your roar awakened it." That night, Leo stood guard, listening to the soft thrum of life within the egg. He didn't realize that as he slept, the egg glowed brighter with every breath he took. Whisper of the forgotten roar. Early the next morning, a stranger entered Zubaa, an old, scarred lioness named Kuva. "I heard the roar," she said, stepping into the clearing. "And I followed it here." Kuva was one of the lost lions of the Whispering Pride, exiled long ago when their roars were deemed too soft. They thought quiet roars were weak, Kuva said, her voice low. But you, young one, you've changed everything. Leo listened closely. I want to share what we know. Some roars heal, that grow trees, that speak only to the stars. Leo's ears perked up. Then teach me. Kuva smiled. First, you must listen, even to what others ignore. The roar of roots. With Kuva's guidance, Leo and his friends traveled deep into the underground chambers of the forest, places where the roots of every tree were connected like threads in a drum. They sat in silence as Kuva began to growl, not loud but low and steady. The roots responded. Small flowers bloomed from the earth. Vines shifted toward the light. This is the roar of roots, she said. It speaks not to ears, but to the land. Leo tried. At first nothing. Then, slowly, vines curled toward his paw. A tiny shoot of green broke the soil beside him. He gasped. I didn't shout. I just felt. Kuva nodded. You're not the lion who was scared of roaring anymore. You're the lion who knows how to roar. The egg cracks. One stormy night thunder rumbled, but this time it wasn't just from the sky. The golden echo egg began to pulse rapidly. Leo rushed to the nest. Cracks spread across the shell like lightning bolts. Zizi, Tamu, Milo, and Nia stood by as the egg shattered open, revealing a tiny, glowing, lion cub-like creature made entirely of light and sound. It blinked with wide eyes and opened its mouth. Out came a song, not a cry. Notes floated in the air like fireflies. The drums of echo responded with soft beats. The first echo spirit in generations, whispered Nia. Leo stepped forward, and the creature curled beside him, purring in a hum. It knows you, said Zizi. You're its first roar. The last silence. The next day, the forest grew oddly quiet, not in fear, but in stillness. The echo spirit had silenced the forest to teach it something, how to listen again. Birds paused their songs. Streams slowed. Even the wind moved softly. In that stillness, Leo heard everything. The rustle of leaves, the pulse of animals nearby, the silent wishes of sleeping seeds. And in that silence, Leo understood. Roaring was never just about sound. It was about knowing when to speak and why. He looked at his friends and the forest beyond. I think I finally get it. Zizi smiled. So what now? Leo stood, head held high. We teach the forest how to roar, together. The circle of roars, Leo gathered the animals of Zubaa Forest under the moonrock tree. The echo spirit floated beside him, glowing gently. It's time we pass on what we've learned, Leo said. Every voice matters. Every roar has a place. They formed a great circle. Elephants, antelopes, birds, lizards, lions, even Grizzle and his hyenas. Leo stepped into the center and began. This is the roar of welcome. He gave a soft, steady sound. Zizi followed. This is the roar of friendship. Milo spun and let out a giggling howl. Roar of fun. Tamu nodded. Roar of peace. Each animal stepped into the circle, sharing their voice, no matter how strange or small. When it was Grizzle's turn, he hesitated, then roared low and rough. Roar of regret. The animals paused, then clapped. The circle glowed, and the echo spirit danced above them all. The lost cub. As they journeyed toward the far cliffs, the team heard a faint mewing from the tall grass. They followed it to find a trembling, mud-covered lion cub, Nilo, lost and scared. I was chasing a butterfly, Nilo sniffled, and I couldn't find my way back. Leo knelt beside him. I used to get lost, too, not just in the forest, but in fear. He gently placed a paw over Nilo's heart. Let's roar together. Nilo took a breath and gave a squeaky little growl. Leo grinned. Perfect. They returned him to his family, and Leo gave Nilo a small leaf charm. For when you need to find your voice again. The Trial of Three Tones. As part of their journey, the Echo Spirit led Leo and friends to a shimmering canyon that rang like a bell with every step. "This is the Canyon of Three Tones," said Nia. "Only those who balance heart, truth, and rhythm can pass." Leo stepped forward. A platform lit beneath his paws. A deep, droning hum began. "Heart," whispered Zizi. Leo growled softly, thinking of his friends. A second tone joined. Higher, wavering. "Truth," said Tamu. Leo spoke. "I was afraid, and I still am sometimes." The third tone rose, fast and steady. "Rhythm," Milo grinned. "Dance time." Leo bounced once, twice, then roared in perfect sync with the three tones. The canyon burst with light, and the path forward opened. A shadow's apology. Later that evening, as the group camped by a river, Grizzle approached the fire slowly. "I never said thank you," he muttered. Leo looked up. "You could have chased me away forever, but instead, you heard me. That changed something." He sat down beside them, paws tucked under. "I've been trying. I helped a lost cub find her way yesterday. Didn't roar, just walked with her." Zizi smiled. "That's a roar in its way." Milo passed him a coconut. "Roar of snacks?" Grizzle chuckled. "Don't push it." But that night, when the Echo Spirit curled beside Grizzle to rest, he didn't move away. He let it stay. The Night of 1,000 Roars news spread across Zubaa. On the next full moon, animals gathered from every direction for what became known as the Night of 1,000 Roars. Each group brought their sounds: drums, songs, chirps, purrs, growls, calls. Leo stood at the center, the Echo Spirit hovering above. "We were once afraid of our voices," he said. "Now we share them with pride." He raised his head and roared, not alone, but with everyone. Roars shook the sky. Stars sparkled brighter. Even the moonrock tree shimmered gold. And in that moment, the forest truly became one voice. The Roar School. After the Night of 1,000 Roars, animals from across the land came to Leo with one question. "Can you teach us?" Leo stood beneath the moonrock tree, looking out at cubs, chicks, pups, and kits of every kind. Some had strong voices. Some could barely squeak. Zizi elbowed him. "Looks like you've got a classroom." Leo laughed nervously. "I never thought I'd be a teacher." "You already are," said Tamu. "You taught us all." So they built the Roar School, a ring of stones with seats carved from logs, vines for swings, and musical instruments made from trees. Each day, Leo led lessons, roars of confidence, roars of calm, roars of kindness, and every student discovered their sound. Even Nilo, the lost cub, now stood proudly beside him, helping guide others. The Silent Summit. One day, the Echo Spirit floated to Leo with urgency. A mountain beyond the forest had begun to quake. The Silent Summit, a place no one had visited in centuries. "Why now?" asked Nia. "The roars have stirred something," whispered the Echo Spirit. "A voice forgotten by time." Leo knew they had to go. Together, the team climbed, through strange mists and icy winds. At the top stood a stone lion statue, cracked down the middle. As Leo approached, the statue's eyes glowed, and a voice, old, deep, and tired, echoed from inside. "Who dares wake the roar of the first forest?" Leo stepped forward. "I'm Leo, and I don't come to wake you, I come to listen." The mountain fell silent. Then it began to sing, the roar of the first forest. The voice within the mountain was ancient, older than the trees, older than the sunflowers of Zubaa. "I am the first roar," the voice boomed. "I gave sound to the world, then went to sleep." Leo listened, heart wide open. "You have awakened a world of voices, but they must never forget to listen." Leo bowed. "We won't." the statue cracked further, and from it emerged a glowing scroll, sealed with roots and vines. "The song of forever," Nia whispered. "It's the forest's future." Leo took it carefully. A path was ending, but a new one had begun. A new drumbeat. When the team returned to Echo Hill, the drums of Echo beat not with thunder, but with joy. Leo gathered the animals. "Today, we begin again," he said. "Not just as lions, monkeys, owls, or zebras, but as one voice." He opened the scroll. Inside were notes, rhythms, and songs never sung. Each page shimmered with energy, waiting to be played. So they did. Each creature drummed, roared, chirped, and stomped in time. And a new song spread across the forest, the drumbeat of belonging. Leo didn't stand at the front. He stood among them. Just one roar among many. Leo's legacy. Under the full moon, Queen Luma stood beside Leo, now taller, stronger, wiser. "You've made me proud," she said. "But more than that, you've made the forest proud." Leo looked out at the sleeping cubs of Roar School, the glowing Echo spirit curled beside a vine drum, and the stars above. Zizi nudged him. "What will you do next?" Leo smiled. "Whatever the forest needs," Milo whispered. "I think you're already a legend," Tamu nodded. "And legends don't end. They echo." Nia flew up and circled the moonrock tree, and as Leo closed his eyes, the forest breathed with him. One last roar, gentle, full of love, heard across the stars. The roar, beyond the trees. One quiet dawn, Leo stood on the edge of Zubaa Forest, staring past the tall trees into the golden plains beyond. "I feel something calling," he said. "The world is bigger than we know," Nia replied. "Maybe your roar is meant to reach places even the drums don't." So they packed fruit, leaf pouches, and flutes. Zizi, Tamu, Milo, and Nia joined without hesitation. "The world needs more than echo," said Tamu. "It needs sharing." As they walked beyond the trees, the winds carried their songs, melodies of courage, unity, and joy, and far away in a distant forest, ears perked. The Mute Meadow. Their journey led them to Mute Meadow, a vast stretch of flowers where no creature made a sound. Birds flew silently. Crickets buzzed without buzz. Even the wind tiptoed. "This place, it forgot how to sing," Zizi whispered. Suddenly, a young antelope stepped out. Her name was Mari, and she mouthed words no one could hear. "She's not silent," said Nia. "She's trapped in stillness." Leo stepped forward. He didn't roar. He hummed, a warm, vibrating sound from deep inside. Mari blinked. Her ears twitched. She closed her eyes and began to hum back. The grass shimmered, the wind returned, and the meadow found its voice again. The Forgotten Choir. Mari led the group to an old canyon where statues of animals lined the cliffs, frozen mid-song. "These are the voices of the first choir," Nia whispered. "Animals who once sang together across lands." But something had sealed their music. Grizzle, now walking quietly in peace, stepped forward. "Let me try." He placed his paw on the stone and roared, low, honest, and full of apology. The statues stirred. One by one their mouths opened. Leo roared next. The cliffs echoed with harmonies lost to time. Each statue glowed, then faded gently, their voices now free. "They weren't meant to be remembered," said Mari. "They were meant to be released." The cave of echo seeds. The echo spirit fluttered toward a glowing crevice in the earth. Inside, they discovered a glowing chamber filled with seeds that hummed. The echo seeds, ancient gifts from the first forest, meant to be planted in places where silence had swallowed joy. Each friend took one. Leo held his seed close. "We'll plant them wherever roars are lost." Together they climbed from the cave, each with their seed glowing gently in the dusk. "The forest gave us these," said Tamu. "Now we return them to the world." And Leo whispered, "Let the future grow." where the stars can hear. That night they camped on a hill so high the stars looked close enough to touch. "I wonder," said Milo, "do the stars hear us?" Leo smiled. "They hear every whisper that's meant from the heart." He stood and looked up. Then, with no effort, no fear, and no need to be perfect, he roared. Not loud, not soft, just true. The stars twinkled in response. And far, far away, a lion cub opened his eyes, hearing that roar in his dreams. The forest was no longer just a place. It had become a story, echoing across the world. A roar left behind. Before leaving Mute Meadow, Leo sat with Mari beneath a wind chime tree. She handed him a small pendant, a stone shaped like an ear. "For listening," she signed. Leo smiled and gave her the echo seed he carried. "For growing your roar." She placed it in the soil, and instantly a spiral of singing vines bloomed. As they departed, Mari stood tall, leading a chorus of birds, insects, and wind. Zizi whispered, "We're not just planting seeds, we're planting stories." And Leo looked back at the now singing meadow and nodded. "Let them echo without us." The river that hummed. Days later, the group reached a silver river where the water moved in patterns, forming wave-like musical notes. "This river hums," said Tamu, "but it's forgotten its song." They found villagers nearby who had once lived in harmony with the river, but now feared it. Leo listened to the river's rhythm. Then he led the group in a slow stomp, clap, and roar that matched the flow. Milo added laughter. Nia added melody. Zizi danced. The villagers joined, their feet tapping old rhythms. The river began to sing again. That night it flowed louder, a lullaby across the plains. The call of the cub back in Zubaa Forest, a little lion cub stood near the moonrock tree. He had a soft mane, curious eyes, and a trembling voice. "I want to roar," he whispered, "but I'm scared." Queen Luma looked down gently. "So was my son." She handed him a round stone with a carved paw print. His story began with fear, too, but it ended with harmony. The cub looked up. "Where is he now?" Queen Luma smiled toward the horizon. "Out there, planting echoes." The cub held the stone to his chest, and for the first time he growled, a tiny brave sound. Leo's final echo. On the edge of a cliff under the stars, Leo stood alone. He closed his eyes and remembered it all. The silence, the storm, the fireflies, the roar, the echo spirit, the cubs, the songs, the seeds. He whispered to the wind, "Let others find what I found. Let them roar, not to be heard, but to heal." He placed his final echo seed in the soil. A tree sprouted instantly, glowing silver, humming softly. Nia landed beside him. "Ready to go home?" Leo smiled. "I never left." The lion who was never alone. The final chapter wasn't set in stone. It wasn't told by elders or painted on drums. It lived in the way the vines danced when someone roared with truth. It lived in every cub who found their voice. It lived in the stars above and the soil below. And though Leo's paw prints faded from the path, the echo of his journey remained. He was no longer the lion who was scared of roaring. He was the lion who taught the world that every roar, loud or quiet, wild or gentle, deserves to be heard, and far, far away, a roar began again.